You are watching Limited Resources Draft Series on MTGO Academy featuring Marshall Sutcliffe.
Hey guys, Marshall here from Limited Resources doing another video with MTGO Academy. And this is kind of an insane opening pack. Fellhide Spiritbinder, Archetype of Courage. Follow the Hammer, Bolt. There's even an Asphyxiate hiding up here and a Spiteful Returns. So there's a whole lot of directions that we can go here. If I was going to take a red card, I'd probably just take this one. I think it's really good, but I don't want to take a red card. I either want to take a white or a black card or maybe even a green one, but I'm not going to take one out of this pack. So I think I'm going to take Courage or Asphyxiate, or Archetype of Courage or Asphyxiate here. I feel like white and red are heavily drafted right now and not the direction that I want to be going necessarily, unless the white is paired with black, in which case I do like it. Hell with it. I'm going to take Asphyxiate. I'm just sick of taking white and red cards and then just getting boned. A Crow and Skyguard, of course, the best card out of this pack. And the only way that I've been playing white is if I've paired it, or at least been happily playing white, is if I've been pairing it with black. Rare's okay. Silent Sentinel's pretty good for a 7-drop. It gets stuff back. It can kind of grind you back into a game that you were pretty far behind on. I'm going to take Skyguard here, though. Ooh, there we go. Third pick Shrike-Harpy. I love that. Taking that. Yes, sir. That's what I want to see. A Dunos River Trawler. He trawls around in the value and he brings you gifts. Card's really good. Pretty good in black. Really good in black-white. Okay. Faded Conflagration's quite good, but triple red is nasty on the casting cost. I think I'm just going to take this archetype, or excuse me, not this archetype, this Vortex Elemental. I think Archetype of Finality is okay, but it's not very, I don't think it's great by any stretch. And I really like Vortex Elemental. I think it's sweet. Forlorn Sudama's just okay. It's kind of just bad, to be honest. Excoriate's pretty good, though. I think I'm going to take Excoriate here. I think I just want the removal. Even though it's not the best removal, it does go pretty good in this type of deck. Wow. Sweet. Another River Trawler. And we even get an enchantment creature right after it that we can pick up with it. So that's pretty nice. I like this. I like where this is going a lot better than when I first picked Bolt of Keranos or whatever and just, I don't know, I just feel kind of miserable picking it. Like, I know it's a good card. I've won my fair share of decks with that kind of thing, but yeah, I haven't really been enjoying it. And I also feel like immediately I'm under a lot of pressure from the rest of the draft just because it feels like everybody's kind of like, oh, and a Crow and Skyguard, I'll take it. Okay, that's fine. But then, like, as we start moving forward, it just gets worse and worse. I'll take a Marshmist Titan over the chorus here because everybody's first picking Bolt of Keranos, Follow the Hammer, a Crow and Skyguard. Those are all first pick cards that people take, and then they're just like, oh, I'm blah, blah, blah aggro. And it's like, yeah, I just hate fighting for those decks. Because if you get a really good one, they're fantastic. But if you don't, they're kind of bad and boring. A second Marshmist Titan's probably not the best. But, yeah, this is later part of the pack, so it's not too bad, I guess. Sweet. That's a nice pickup right there. Card's pretty good. Sure. This guy usually doesn't make the cut for me. But you never know. We don't really know what our second color is yet either. I like Vortex Elemental a ton. And we've got a Skyguard and an Excoriate. All those red and white cards got chewed up. Sure. Elmer. Looking majestic as always. And another 4-drop. Neither of these likely to make the cut, but at least we're getting pickable cards like last here. So let's see what we open up. That's going to kind of dictate a lot of what happens. Obviously, we're in black. So if we open good black cards, that's easy. But what's our secondary color? It can certainly be white. Skyguard's not that great in this type of deck. It's okay, though. Still a fine 2-drop. Can throw down something on it. Vortex Elemental is really good in this type of deck. But the blue didn't seem too open at all. So I don't know where we're going to end up yet. That's the fun of it, though. Okay. Well, we immediately get pushed into some type of decision here because there's no good black cards in the pack. There's one black card and it's awful. So what are our considerations? Observant Alseid Sealock monster, I suppose. I mean, I think Observant Alseid's quite a bit better. We could even take a carry added here and just see if we're maybe going to dip into green. But I think with a couple of playable white cards, I mean, Sealock monster is also perfectly reasonable options. We cut this thing, we play the monster, we get to play Vortex Elemental. That's a pretty good idea too. I feel like Observant Alseid's, like, I think this has a much better chance to come back around than this though. So I'll take it and keep it in mind. All right, now this is getting interesting. A Spear, a Hopeful Eidolon, and there's a Disciple of Phoenix, plus a Farika's Cure over there too. I think I can just take the Spear here, though. I mean, it's still really good. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. Oh, and also Observant Alseid, of course, with River Trawler. We have to put a big emphasis on that. And Hopeful Eidolon would be too. That actually bumps it up pretty significantly. I still feel like we can take the Spear here. It's so powerful. Last Breath, Rescue from the Underworld, Cutthroat Maneuver. So I feel like it's between these two. Rescue can be very good. We can get some value from Shrike Harpy, from River Trawler maybe. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll try to go deep. This is a pretty easy pick. Well, actually, I shouldn't say easy, but this is the pick, I think. Erebos' Emissary, super solid 4-drop. And again, with double River Trawler, I mean, we can get it back if they kill it. And even if they don't, we can ditch Observant Alseid to pump Erebos' Emissary the next turn, just cast River Trawler, get it back, the Alseid, and kind of go off. So, having a discard outlet along these lines, I think, is quite strong here. I like Blood Toll Harpy here. I want to try to stay black. I mean, the Spear of Heliod's a little awkward, but it's not necessarily a turn 3 slam anyway, so I don't feel too bad about it. Yeah, it's more of like a turn 5-ish play, something along those lines. Sad. I love Vortex Elemental, but yeah, this seems sweet. I really want to focus our build around these two River Trawlers and just trying to grind and picking up Observant Alseid and Erebos' Emissary in the early stages of this pack is nice. Okay, Return Phalanx, Felhide Minotaur, Divine Verdict. I like Verdict here quite a bit. I think it's pretty solid removal. We need removal. I mean, we've got an Excoriator, Verdict, and Asphyxiate, and then kind of a Spear, kind of a Shrike Harpy, but I think, this kind of deck really does need to max out, so more, please. You know what card would be sweet to get? Is Ashen Rider. We've got discard outlets. We can rescue it. We can just cast it. Mogis' Marauder, sure. I'll take one. It's not as good as Scholar of Athreos. That's a premium card for this deck as well. But Marauder's okay. And we seem to have pretty decent amount of beef. I mean, sometimes, you try to grind the game down a little bit, and then you just cast a Marshmist Titan and an Emissary or something, and you draw your Mogis' Marauder and give them both Intimidate and get in there for 7 or 9 or 12 or whatever it ends up being and, kill somebody. All right. Warden, Lampad, Glare. Glare is a card I'd love to have for the board, but I think we probably are priced into Cavern Lampad. Not my favorite bestow creature, but again, with double River Trawler, we kind of have to respect anything that's a enchantment creature, and probably going to make the cut too. All right, well, there's a Vanquish the Foul or even a Guardians of Meletus here. I guess I'll just take this crappy Vanquish, but I'm hiding it. That can come in against the green deck. If they're trying to go huge with Staunch Hearted Warriors and Nessian Asps and stuff, then we can bring that in, but I'm not starting it. Well, we got multiple 4-drops back, but we're just going to slam Disciple of Phoenix here. Return Centaur is interesting as well, but Disciple's way better just as a card. And I like having that quite a bit. Return Centaur, though, you can do some shenanigans, like we can target ourselves and try to get some extra value from our river trawlers, or even start trying to loop those things and deck somebody or whatever. I'm just going to take Cutthroat Maneuver. I think I'm going to end up hiding it. Obviously, areas of focus for us. Any more removal we can pick up would be sweet. I wouldn't mind having a big finisher of some sort, and then we need to shore up our 2-drop situation here a bit too. I think that one of the best cards we could get is probably Baleful Eidolon. We play it, it trades for something, we buy it back, we play it again. There's some decks that just can't really beat that kind of loop. Other cards we want, Baleful Eidolon, Farika's Cure would be good just to be able to kill some flyers or whatever. I kind of like where we're at, though. Deck seems pretty good. I'll take a Viper's Kiss here. I think I will hide this. But, yeah, our deck seems sweet, and we're already we got a whole pack to go here, and we're almost at playable. So we're going to have some flexibility at these next picks. All right. Yeah, let's see where this thing goes. I'm super curious. Well, another disappointing pack here, really disappointing, to be honest. Like our pack 2 pick 1 and our pack 3 pick 1 are just kind of miserable. I'm going to take Return Phalanx for the reasons I talked about earlier about sort of shoring up the early game here, but I mean that is pretty darn unexciting for our deck. Oh baby, we did it, kids. Oh no. Oh man, I don't. So Hopeful Eidolon is incredible for our deck, and there's a decent chance that we get Ashen Rider back on the wheel. But after talking about it before, like, I just don't know how I pass it. Will it come back? So the next picks are, so we take Hopeful. So then there's Chosen gets picked, Vaporkin, Sea God's Revenge, Magma Jet, Griptide. That's 5. We got to find 3 picks that are going to go ahead of a Mythic. We're taking it. We're doing it. Oh, man, we even got another outlet here. Read the Bones would be really good, too, but I want Erebos' Emissary. Ordeal of Erebos. That's interesting. I'm actually going to pick that up here. I could take the Snarecaster, but I think that that might be a decent later gameplay for us, actually. Not an early game, but a later gameplay. I'll take a sip here. We do need some way to just kill something. We've got plenty of creatures. We can definitely cut some of the more middling creatures out of the deck. I still think we want Cavern Lampad, but like we can cut this guy. Maybe one of the Marsh Mist Titans. I do want to run one though, but 2 of them's a bit much. Again, what we want to start doing here is focusing on what our issues are. Yes. And that's early game, which we've seemed to have shored up pretty reasonably here. And then flyers are the other thing that I'm kind of concerned about. But there's good news. We've got Divine Verdict, Excoriate, Asphyxiate, and we've also got a Blood Toll Harpy and a Shrike Harpy to block. So I don't think we're just dead to them by any stretch. Now, do we want Lash of the Whip or Disciple of Phoenix number 2 here? Disciple's pretty good with Rescue from the Underworld. Like, you can get some value out of that. But Lash of the Whip is a solid removal spell, and I think that we actually just want it. Oh, what the hell? I didn't see this. There's a Scholar of Athreos sitting down below. I'm taking that. Nice debate. I think that is actually debatable, though, what we should take there. But I just find Scholar to be so incredibly powerful in a deck like this that I just feel like passing it's bad. Hi, what's your name? Gary? Nice to meet you. I'm Marshall. Get in my deck. That's a nice one. Black's open. Not sure if we noticed that yet, but black's very open. I don't know what we're cutting yet. All our stuff's good. Probably cut this. I mean, it's a good way to punch through for the victory, but I feel like our deck is going to not going to have a hard time finding a way to win. It's not like we need this one big play to get through. So I think we can cut that. I like our removal options. I think white's worth it. Man, we got some tough cuts coming up. I'm going to cut this Dark Betrayal. I mean, not just cut it, but we might want it for our board, though. It does kind of feel like if anybody else is in black, I'm not sure who they are. I don't know how many there are at the table, because our deck is pretty black-centric here. Skyguard probably can get cut here. He doesn't block particularly well, and while we do have some things that we can throw onto it, I feel like it's more of a tempo card where it's like you want to be able to start putting stuff onto it almost immediately, and we don't have that kind of deck. I think the earliest is this, outside of our Ordeal. And the Ordeal is also a sketchy... It's definitely possible that we don't play the Ordeal. We'll just take another Viper's Kiss. Probably never bringing in both, but I guess there are some decks. Wow, that's awesome. Read the Bones. This, I think we really want to play that. I like that a lot in a deck like this, like a lot. Feral Invocation. Is that good against us? Not really. Let's take Stymied Hopes. Warden, because we might play it. And our old friend getting hidden. I'm wondering if we want the Marshmist Titans at this point. Still maybe one of them. But we've got enough. Like the role that they serve in this deck is to lock up the ground basically, and I feel like we have that already pretty well handled. Still to make at least 3 cuts here, considering 18 lands for this deck. Submit. Ordeal's a maybe. That's a maybe. These ones are in. That's in for sure. I'm going to put this in the maybe pile, though. It's probably in. In. You're a maybe. And then I'll put the Marshmist Titans at maybe as well. Skyguard's a maybe. This is in. So this could be our deck right here. 22-18. And we could put in any of these, which are all good cards. It's just, are they better than what we have here? That's the question. Spear, asphyxiate, bones, excoriate, rescue, and sip. So this deck just looks pretty darn solid as it sits. I don't see it having any major issues. I could talk myself into one Marshmist Titan here. I could probably talk myself into Cavern Lamphead, but I think I'd rather just board it in. I don't feel like this is an Ordeal Cutthroat Maneuver deck. I think we're going to be grinding. Marshmist Titan. I mean, it's easy to cast, so that's nice. But is it better than any of these? I don't think it is. It could be better than Bloodtoll Harpy. Spiteful Return is not amazing in the deck, but I think it's still worth running just because we can buy it back. Return Phalanx is just sort of necessary evil. We just need something early. I mean, I could see cutting it for the Bloodtoll Harpy here. I think this is kind of where I want to be, though. The Harpy does seem a bit out of place, though. Maybe the deck is something like this and we hope to cast that on turn 5. Yeah, let's give this a shot. It says 5-13. Now, we do need a lot of black, but not a ton. I mean, once we hit 2 black, our whole deck is good to go. So we don't need 13. We could probably go 11-7 here. The hardest card for us to cast is this one, because we do want it, somewhere in this time frame. In fact, why don't we do that while we're in here? Baleful Eidolon can be a 2. This is a 4. This is a 5. These are 3s-ish, probably not directly on 3, but somewhere in that range. I'll put Spirit 6. Read the Bones at 5. Asphyxiate at 5. Divine Verdict at 6. Excoriate at 6. I'll put Ashen Rider at 27. Merchants a 5. Shrikes a 5. Marshmist Titan's probably a 5. Underworld probably over here somewhere. Sip can be a turn 6. So obviously heavy black here. Spear is our only really tough thing that, we don't expect that guy too early. 11-7's probably fine. It would be a little awkward, because we could do 10-8 and probably also be fine, but I guess I'll go 11-7 here. All right, let's see what this thing can do.